My name is Kujo Yankson. Let me tell you how to turn back time. You can now bring back all the fun, all the excitement, all the controversy of the Super Morning Show and all your favorite Joy shows when you go to myjoyonline.com/podcasts. Just select your favorite show and bring it all back again. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Radio, Joy 99.7.
Now, the Ghana Police Service has apologized to journalists who went to court Monday afternoon to cover proceedings involving founder and leader of Glorious Word Power Ministries International, Reverend Isaac OWUSU BEMPAH. This follows allegations that some reporters were prevented from entering the courtroom by some personnel of the service. Details of that apology from the police is contained in a statement issued a while ago. And we bring you details of that statement, which is on your screen right now. It says it has come to the attention of the police administration that yesterday, Monday, September 13, some journalists were prevented from entering the courtroom during the arraignment of the head pastor of the Glorious Word Power Ministries International, Reverend Isaac OWUSU BEMPAH, and 3 others. It has also been reported that some journalists were attacked and prevented from working at the court premises by some persons believed to be church members and supporters of the accused persons, obviously including Reverend Isaac OWUSU BEMPAH. Statement goes on to say a team is currently studying the footage of the alleged assault of some of the journalists to identify the alleged perpetrators for immediate prosecution. The service apologizes unreservedly for this inconvenience and wish to give the assurance that journalists will be fully protected and allowed to do their work at all times, including the subsequent coverage of this case. It ends by saying we will continue to do everything possible to deepen the cordial police-media relationship. And this is signed by Acting Director General of the Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Kwesi Ofori. Meanwhile, joint news sources within the Ghana Police Service say the popular preacher is receiving treatment for a medical condition yet to be disclosed. OWUSU BEMPAH was rushed to the police hospital some hours after he was remanded into police custody for assaulting police officers and threatening to kill former traditionalist Nana Agrada. It comes after he was denied bail by an Accra Circuit Court on Monday. Here's the leader of his legal counsel, Gary Nimakomafo, speaking after court hearing yesterday.
The court didn't grant the bail application, and we will have to come back next week, Monday. Is that not correct? So we'll come back.
So, related to this development, some members of the Glorious Word Power Ministries International who had come to court to support their spiritual leader attacked some journalists for filming their pastor. Some of them spoke to Adom TV's Prince OWUSU.
Reverend OWUSU BEMPAH sorry for ehwiensu etunsu ogume so obi be bo me wo gate ya no ha main gate ya no ha obi fie kire baaye be do me ka chem se me enche mewu simply say me cho OWUSU BEMPAH video asori ma ekeka nsam di atem
me side in there one guy be urban or the paper no the cover say na be me ya no nti me say ontwe ho kakra na church members no two go me so yes, so me camera mu ebu no say bebe say no etu so go me so bakon hit me chest say on my kwan na even sexy don crambo at the quarter prisoners cell on say you call no interview na ono papa no here almost for na here nti one police for na boy said they should rather protect us say ebia this is the issue.
Now, the British High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, says media freedom and free speech are at the heart of a well-functioning democracy. In her first interview after being named the High Commissioner, she tells Israel Lai on the AM show government must do more to prevent attacks on journalists. Her comment comes on the heels of claims that there is a culture of silence in Ghana. There have also been attacks on journalists, including one that led to the death of Tiger Eye's Ahmed Swale, and recent threats on the life of multimedia journalist Erastus Asari Donko by Assin Central MP Kennedy Ejapom. The new High Commissioner to Ghana says this issue remains a priority for the UK.
So, media freedom has been and continues to be a priority for our government, and I'm really glad that we were able to bring a number of journalists over to the UK for a Media Freedom Conference. The culture around media freedom in Ghana is something that I still need to get under the skin of, but absolutely it's important that when crimes are committed against journalists, when journalists feel like they aren't able to speak up, we've got to address those things because they're at the heart of a well-functioning, healthy democracy. If people aren't able to speak up about the things that matter to them, then the democracy is in trouble. And Ghana is well known around the world for being an inclusive, tolerant society where people are able to speak up. So yes, I'm looking forward to talking to you and others in your profession to find out more and to see what we can do.
Harriet Thompson has also warned that the UK will not be a destination for stolen money. A three-member special GFA committee has been handed 72 hours to find the next Black Stars coach. This comes in the wake of the GFA's decision to terminate the appointment of CK AKONNOR as head coach of the Black Stars. Joy Sports' Hans Mensah Ando details CK AKONNOR's journey as a coach of the national team in the following report.
I will not call players based on their names, because he's CK AKONNOR and he's playing Manchester United. I should invite him. No.
That was Charles Kwabla AKONNOR when he was appointed head coach of the Black Stars in January 2020. He replaced Kwesi Appiah, under whom he had served as assistant coach of the senior national team. Before that, he was appointed by Kumasi Asante Kotoko as head coach in October 2018, but by August 2019, he was given the boot. His 10 games in charge yielded 4 victories, 4 defeats and 2 draws. Fans described some of those matches as lackluster, particularly the match against Ethiopia in Cape Coast. Ghana's defeat against South Africa intensified calls for his sacking. Football pundits Nana Jiman, Jerome Otri, and Joy Sports' Gary Al Smith.
The fact of the matter is, he didn't do himself any favours.
The president of our country said at a breakfast meeting that the target was for CK AKONNOR to win the Africa Cup of Nations and to get to the semi-final of the World Cup. I mean,
if we are any serious people, we don't need a local coach now.
Well, Joy Sports editor Gary Al Smith believes the former Black Stars coach was set up to fail by Ghanaians. For him, as a nation, we could have done better to enable CK excel at his job rather than leading him on to fail. He spoke on PM Express.
As a nation, we set CK AKONNOR up to fail. Why did we set him up to fail? Evans, we all knew, you knew in the studio, when Kwesi Appiah was sacked, Evans, you knew that we did not have a team that was a world beater. You knew. Yeah. Everybody knew. Yeah. And yet, when CK AKONNOR was given the job, we all watched. And when I say we, I mean our leaders are a reflection of us. So we all watched as our leaders, one after the other, kept saying that qualify for the AFCON and go and win the AFCON. When everybody knew that CK AKONNOR, maybe he was a coach who was going to learn from his mistakes as he went along. But we knew that we could not give him the support he needed to win the AFCON. We also knew that he did not have the material necessary to win the AFCON one touch. We knew, but we all watched as our leaders said that. A couple of months ago, the president of our country said at a breakfast meeting that the target for CK AKONNOR because they were going to get money, from corporate Ghana and all that, was for CK Akonno to win the Africa Cup of Nations and to win and to get to the semi-final of the World Cup. I mean, Evans.
Yeah.
We did not even give the 2010 team who had gotten to the final of an Africa Cup of Nations, we did not even set them that target before they went to South Africa.
Yes.
Why then would we do that to a team that has just crashed out in Egypt in the manner that they did? Why have we done this to CK Akonno? We have been very unfair. So forget about the statistics for a moment. But all of us have done a great disservice to this man who we gave the job in the hope that he was going to learn and develop with all of us.
Speaking on the same show, football analyst Nana Jiman advocated better education and training for local coaches.
The level of coach education in Europe is totally different to what coach education here is on the continent. The coach education over there, for want of a better word, is scientific, and ours is definitely unscientific. It's jujutific and full of spiritualism. I'm being very serious, and full of spiritualism. The key to this coaching experiment is taking some. I don't want to say some key coaches or whatever, but taking some coaches that can range from being a C category coach to a B to an A, who shows an aptitude for learning and a good potential, and dropping them off in Germany for a couple of years to take the UEFA A license. I've been saying this for years, because this CAF A license be joke thing. It be joke. All the license there, you've heard me say it before, they're a joke. But you see the paperwork and all that, where they photocopy, some you can read, some you can't read, yet you charge some high price to take them on the course and blah, blah, and they come out with a certificate or whatever, and basically the mind is still blank. Because when you go to those courses, if you miss a couple of days, you still get your certificate. But when you do the course in Germany and the UK and whatnot, and you miss one day, you start everything all over again. You've got to pay your fee again. You get all your paperwork and everything again. You must start everything all over again. There's no little, me pal cho, and you can come through there and you get your certificate. No. Coach education is where we have to go back to if we want local people, local coaches to manage our Black Stars. Because what is it that the expatriate coach has that the local coach doesn't have?
Away from that, Bono East Regional Minister Kwesi Edujan is urging young people in his region to take advantage of the COVID-19 pandemic and work towards developing innovative technological ideas that would enable them compete in the current digital dispensation. Ms. Edujan has been addressing participants at the maiden Bono East Digital Jobs Fair held in Techiman. Here's correspondent Anas Sabit with more.
Ghana is faced with some 12% youth unemployment and more than 50% underemployment despite major investments by both government and the private sector. With a recent survey conducted across the country revealing that only 10% of graduates finding jobs after first year of completing school, there is the need for the youth to be trained with basic technological tools that will help with skills capable of providing jobs for this unemployed class. To help address this, a consultative stakeholder workshop aimed at transforming the local economy and job creation was organized by the Ghana Tech Lab in Techiman in the Bono East region.
We want to create a sustainable employment. So we call it a pathway to sustainable employment for social development or socioeconomic development. So in that regard, we have selected people, most especially unemployed people, who will go through 6 months intensive training. We are giving them the basics, how they can handle camera, how they can produce short videos and images that can help them to start their own businesses and all that.
Chief Executive Officer of Agrico Hub, Mr. George Antribosiakon, says the commitment exhibited by the participants is a sign that more of such engagements is needed in the area.
For us, the contribution and the participation has been awesome. You could see the commitment and the enthusiasm of the stakeholders who are the main participants, each expressing their reception or their receptiveness of the digital media. They have expressed wonderful views. The commitment and the enthusiasm has been awesome, and we are grateful to their coming.
Abigail Otin Mafo is a graduate and one of the participants of the training. She says the skills obtained in the training would help reduce unemployment amongst graduates.
Joining this program actually was just 15 days. I was not really expecting much, but a lot of my expectations were met. I learned videography, how to edit videos with my mobile phone, so I don't need to purchase video apps and video editing softwares like Adobe Premiere and all that. I can just start with the basic mobile apps. So if these things are done freely, a lot of the youth will patronize and it will help them. They can start their own business. They can, and also for those who have already started, they can take it to the next level through digital means. So I think it will help reduce unemployment.
For Kojo Amwakun, who joined the training from Atibubu, more needs to be done with regards to digital media trainings, adding that the move would help build businesses amongst the youth as well as decrease digital abuse.
You know, when young people are taught about technology, when the awareness of young people are created about technology and the media, you know, digital media, it really improves on their conscience on using it for the betterment of themselves, their colleagues, and so on and so forth, other than abusing them.
OWUSU is a member of Agrimall Ghana. For him, such trainings would create more opportunities for starters.
I think some of this program Agrico Hub is doing, I really commend that it should continue, because in a larger extent it is going to create a lot of opportunities.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Tichima.
Now, 70% of childhood cancers can be treated and cured. That's according to medical experts. They are therefore encouraging parents to take their children for checkups for early detection and treatments in case of any diagnosis. An oncologist at the Children's Unit of the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital gave the assurance on the back of increasing cases of cancer among children, which has become a source of concern for medical experts. She spoke to Enimwa Enim-Ado on the AM show this morning.
The estimate is 1 in 500 children would have cancer in Ghana, and Ghana has about 29 million population. Yeah, so when you put that, you realize that about 1,200 of 200 children would get cancer before they are 15 years old. However, that's actually not the number of cases we see at Korle Bu. Okay. Yeah, at Korle Bu we are seeing about 180 cases. So that shows you that cases are being underreported, and we are not getting the actual statistics. So it means that we are missing a lot of children in the local regions and places where, you know, immediately a child gets something that looks like cancer, they don't go to the hospital, then they tend to treat it some other way, and then the child probably dies. Right. Yes. So this is 1,200 is kind of an estimated number, but what we actually see is about 180. Every cancer is different, yes. Yeah. So you can have as less as 2,500 cedis, and then as much as 40,000 Ghana cedis over a 3-year period. Wow. Especially for a cancer like leukemia. Okay, wow. It takes about 3 years, yeah. So that's why some of them have to drop out of school. You get
for treatment, yeah, because they're in the hospital.
Because they're in the hospital.
They practically live there.
Exactly. There's a building there we call the Mother's Hostel, where they live, and then they, especially when they are coming from outside Accra. Yes, so I was actually there when Gabriel was diagnosed, and then when he started his chemotherapy, and I've seen him make a lot of progress, and it's actually been amazing watching him, and he's actually been taken care of by his grandmother. Wow. Yeah, at the Mother's Hostel. I think since he came in, that was last year, he hasn't gone home. Okay, so somebody like Gabriel, who we can see really wants to go back to school, if let's say his grandmother for some reason runs out of finances or out of people helping or supporting, then what happens to Gabriel?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if his grandmother can have some assistance by maybe some medications on insurance, some of the labs, because not just medications, they are doing labs, they are doing investigations, and all this costs a lot of money. I mean, CT scans cost about 1,200 cedis, and they have to do a series of this, to make sure that the treatment is working. They have to do MRIs, they have to do bone marrow biopsy. All these things are expensive. They are very expensive. So if something like bone marrow biopsy is on insurance, I think bone marrow is about 100 and something cedis. I mean, it would help.
It would.
Any little helps,
Yeah.
you get it. Any little assistance that they can get will go a long way to support, to show them that you're not on your own. I mean, we know that this is a problem in Ghana, and we know that we are willing to support you. You get what I mean here? So I think any little would help.
A survey by the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources indicates 51% of households in the Ashanti region do not have toilet facilities. To help improve the situation, the World Bank has provided $50 million to fund the construction of toilet facilities for low-income households. The Greater Kumasi Sanitation and Water Project is to improve sanitation in the region. There's more in the following report.
And municipal assemblies in the Ashanti region will benefit from the Greater Kumasi Sanitation and Water Project. Eligible low-income households will be supported with 70% of the cost of the household toilet to make the capital cost of accessing the toilet facilities affordable. The Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Abnadapa, addressed a workshop in Kumasi.
Of His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo has secured financing from the World Bank. In fact, the figure for Kumasi is $50 million to replicate the successful Greater Accra Metropolitan Area Sanitation and Water Project in Greater Kumasi, which is the second largest city in Ghana. This project, just like the Greater Kumasi, just like Greater Accra, has had to deal with sanitation challenges. So we are grateful to God and to government for this project that has hit the Greater Kumasi area.
The 4-year project will kick off on October 15 to be completed by December 31, 2024. Project Coordinator for Greater Kumasi Sanitation and Water Project, Engineer George Siedu, is urging households to visit their respective assemblies to register to benefit from the project.
We are all poised to take off, and the household toilet in particular is likely to start by the 15th of October. But as I'm talking to you, everybody hearing my voice can visit their individual municipal assemblies and then write their names and details in the assembly. They shouldn't pay any money yet, but then they will be called to come and pay money on the mobile money platform that will be provided. The platform is not activated yet, but we hope that by the 15th of October, that platform will be activated, but you can still go and then register your interest.
The biodigester toilet, according to Mr. Siedu, can last for 5 years. The fecal matter, when treated, can be sold to farmers as manure.
It is likely to take 5 years if only 10 people are using it. This one, you only need a wheelbarrow and just scoop off the digester sludge. It is like in the form of a manure. Another business is going to come out of it where more people can get to the ground and move from house to house to help people to dislodge them using wheelbarrows.
The project is implemented by the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources through its project coordinating unit. For Joy News, Anita Sewajuges reports.
The Afajato South District's Education Directorate is working to ensure it remains the best performing districts in the Volta region in basic education certificate examination. District Director Esther Ajo Yeboah Ajima says several interventions are being implemented, including a literacy drive to enhance the performance of the candidate. She's been speaking to Joy News after a quiz competition among some junior high school students in the districts.
The quiz competition featured Liati Water DAJHS, Leklebi Dugan JHS, Vergolokwati RCJHS, Logba Alakpeti DAJHS, and Tafi Atume DAJHS. The contestants had their knowledge tested in grammar, tourism, environmental studies, ICT, childhood cancer, and general knowledge. At the end of the 4-round contest, Logba Alakpeti DAJHS emerged winners with 57 points. The Afajato South District Education Director, Esther Ajoyebua Ajima, explained the quiz competition forms part of an agenda to enhance literacy among pupils.
And the children, they perform very well. There's one irony of the issue, which is voter region when it comes to BEC, Afajato South is leading. And we promise to maintain that position. And those who are witnesses to today's quiz can bear me witness that the children, the performance was very good. It was a close to call performance. Every child performed creditably. Periodically, we organize quiz competition for our children. Currently, we are even having a science workshop for the children, especially for the BEC candidates, to acquaint themselves with the science or the general science. But before a child will be able to understand and pass an examination, it is important for that child to be able to read and understand. And that is what literacy is about.
She outlined some interventions ongoing to improve on the standard of education in the district.
As we speak now, there's a government intervention of installation of smart classrooms for all districts in Ghana. And I'm happy to say that Afajato South District is also a beneficiary. And the project will commence very soon because all the classrooms has been EMI for that project. And that will go a long way to help us. And similarly to, we have the Compass project organized by Japanese government, of which the training is going, which is after school classes. They are also going to use in-person and virtual means to help the children upgrade themselves in their learning. So there's a lot going on.
A member of the Accra Premier Lions Club, Lions Atu Ahomka Olenslane say, detailed his outfit supported the initiative because it conforms with its objectives of making society a better place for all.
I happen to be the chairperson of our September activity, and this time around we collaborated with GES to come and celebrate World Literacy Day with them in Afajato South. As Lions on our calendar, we are also celebrating childhood cancer awareness in the whole month of September. So we merged together to celebrate these two wonderful events, and we intend to collaborate more with civil societies and other people going forward to do more of such things to help our community and make all our lives better.
Gertrude Akpabli, a resource person in healthcare, educated the pupils on childhood cancer, AIDS prevention and treatment. The contestants of the quiz competition were presented with certificates and cash. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Logba.
Now, armed men have stormed Kogi State prisons in Nigeria and aided the escape of at least 240 inmates. When we come back, we'll tell you how it all happened. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Joy News today. Now, it was like a Hollywood movie when unidentified and fully armed men attacked a prison facility in Nigeria's Kogi State and aided the escape of at least 240 prisoners. This becomes the second mass jailbreak in Nigeria after a first in April this year, where more than 1,800 inmates broke out and escaped. Authorities in Nigeria confirmed that many of the inmates in this prison were suspected Boko Haram militant, although they have not confirmed if it is the militant group that is behind the attack. Kayode Labende is head of news and editorial at Radio Now in Nigeria, and he joins us live via Zoom for a conversation. First of all, can you give us a background to the story?
Thank you very much. I think the background to the story is the fact that it came as a bit of shock because there's been so much concentration in the northeast where the Boko Haram is predominant, and so much concentration in the northwest where we have the bandits ravaging and kidnapping children and women. But to now have a jailbreak in Kogi State, which is the north central, came as a big shock. But we can connect the dots to realize that a bit of profiling of the inmates that actually escaped were largely terrorists that were arrested.
Hello, Kayode, are you with us? Okay, unfortunately, I think we may have lost Kayode there, who was just giving us a bit more details about this second jailbreak this year in Nigeria. We'll try and raise him back on to continue with the conversation. But the news is that some 240 prisoners have escaped. We're not sure those behind this jailbreak, but there was one earlier this year, back in April, where more than 1,800 inmates broke out and escaped. For now, authorities in Nigeria, well, Kayode, I understand, is back with us. Kayode, we lost you there briefly. You were telling us about the background to this recent jailbreak. Let's finish off from where we lost you.
So basically, we can connect the dots to look at it from the angle of the profiling of these inmates, where that many of them were largely terrorists. That's the Boko Haram terrorists that were arrested sometimes back. So it is speculated, because we are yet to hear from the authority who is actually behind the attack, and no group has yet claimed responsibility. But it all looks like it was more of a coordinated attack by the terrorists, that's the Boko Haram insurgents particularly.
Kayode, has there been any public statement of responsibility or who is behind this?
For now, there has not been anyone claiming responsibility. What the authority had said is that the Minister of Interior, that's Rauf Aregbesola, has called out to the freed inmates to return. Otherwise, they would have to face the wrath of the law. But whether that is a threat that will be taken seriously by the escapees is yet to be seen. But 3 persons were rearrested this morning when they made attempts to move to another state, that's in Kwara State, a neighboring town from Kogi State. So as we speak, it's a situation where the civilians are more worried. They are scared. They don't want these people to mix up with them in the community. So everybody is on alert to ensure that any strange faces or any strange set of people joining them in the community, they will be willing to alert the security agents to do the needful. So for now, what has been prevalent is more of bandits attack, and but this looks like a bit of distraction, which may be some kind of lapses on the part of security, who seems to be paying more attention to the bandits rather than the terrorists in the northeast.
And tell us about the kind of resources dedicated to finding this over 200 persons who have escaped this particular jail.
To be very frank, that's a very, very serious issue you've just raised, because there have been several attacks almost every day. And so when you talk about resources, you would expect that there will be some kind of surveillance, there will be some kind of roadblocks that are thorough. Those things are not very regular. But since they've been placed on alert, let's hope that security will be enforced. And you may also remember that 50 meters away from the prison, there was a roadblock by the military. This roadblock was also dispersed with sporadic gunshots. So it might be a situation where this roadblock may have to be reinforced in different parts. And I think it's getting too long for us not to hear that these men have all been rearrested, or a large number have been rearrested. So it's quite worrisome. But I can say certainly that we have enough firepower to do the needful. But maybe I should also add, the government has also called on the Interpol to be at alert to assist them in arresting these escapees. That is actually the current situation now.
Just finally, real quick, we talk about the fact that there was another jailbreak back in April, 1,800 people. How many of the 1,800 were found?
To a large extent, we can't give a count that a good number of them have been found. There are no information out there. I may also remind you that during the NSAS protest in Nigeria last year, we also had a case of jailbreak in Edo State, that's in the south. So I think the recovery or the rearrest process has not been largely successful. So this is quite worrisome, and it's something that the security agents would have to give a proper profiling of all these persons that escaped. Otherwise, this might actually embolden some of these criminal elements to engage in the further attacks.
All right, Kaide, we'll leave it here. We thank you very much for your time. That's news editor at Radio Now in Nigeria, giving us an update on this jailbreak situation in Nigeria. And the update is that 3 persons have been rearrested. This is Joy News Today. We've got business coming up with Daryl Kwao shortly. Stay with us.
Hi there, welcome to Business. My name is Daryl Kwao. The Bank of Ghana is reminding the public that only universal banks are allowed to undertake foreign currency and forex trading in the country. George Afe has more on the central bank's financial literacy notice.
It is not clear for now what might have influenced this notice from the Bank of Ghana, but it has come up in recent times that some institutions other than universal banks were said to be engaged in this practice. One is also not sure how this is said to be contributing to the current pressure on the Ghana cedi, resulting in its depreciation against the US dollar. The notice also outlined the various functions of all the financial institutions under the Bank of Ghana's supervision, that is from universal banks to susu collectors and credit reference bureaus in the country. It also reminded the public that these forex bureaus were not allowed to sell foreign currencies on the spot market of not more than $10,000 to customers, adding that they are also under no circumstance are supposed to take deposits from the public. For microfinance firms, the Bank of Ghana also reminded them that they are not allowed to lend more than 10% of their net worth and take deposits of not more than 5% of their net worth. The Bank of Ghana did not limit itself only to firms, that is supervisors, as it went ahead to also give details of institutions that come under other regulators like the Securities and Exchange Commission and the National Insurance Commission. Meanwhile, the Bank of Ghana has also released a list of firms that are allowed to do business in Ghana, from commercial banks to savings and loans, as well as credit reference bureaus. So if you are in doubt of that institution that you are dealing with, well, you may have to get onto the Bank of Ghana website to carry out your own checks and verification.
Now, the Ghana Chamber of Commerce says its partnership with academic institutions in the country is beginning to yield results as universities are showing signs of graduates with entrepreneurial skills and mindsets. President of the Chamber, Clement Osei-Amoako, is asking the universities to go entrepreneurial as is the best way to develop the country. More in this report from Richard Kujanyako.
The event venue for the 9th Universities Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development in Africa Conference. Entrepreneurs from some of the country's universities showcase the product of their skills and to sell their ideas for support by the private sector. Speaking at the opening, President of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce, Clement Osei-Amoako, emphasized the need for the universities to develop the skills of students. He says the collaboration between the academia and industries should be toughened to yield the needed results.
We the Chamber, seeing that as a gap, saw the need to go in bed with most of the universities and see how we can, bridge the gap. We saw that as university, what they do mostly is to produce for the private sector. And you cannot sit somewhere and produce to the private sector when you don't know their needs. And so we are saying that, look, why don't we come together and put our needs together? We'll let them know what we are looking for, and they will build their capacity for us, and so that we have a better Ghana. So of now, what we have done so far, we've had some MOU with some universities in Ghana. We've done UMAT, we've done KNUST. We are also doing it with UCC. And beyond this, we are also signing an MOU with them. That is to say that we will not just come and have a conference and go and sit back. We need to develop our people into the future. And so when we sign, then it means that we have a responsibility to work towards it, and we're going to do that. We are also looking at a situation where we have junior chambers across the universities, where we'll train them when they are in school, just as the beautiful things that we are seeing, build their capacity. And it's not everybody who wants to leave the university and come and work with the government. A lot of people want to work on their own. We need to sit down with the universities and identify those needs and prepare them for the betterment of this country. And that's, I want to tell you, the chamber is ready to do that. And we've done it with some universities, and we are going to do more about that into the future.
CEO of the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Kwasi Yankiaye, congratulated the University of Cape Coast for their support in enterprise development. She intimated government was doing a lot to support the small and medium-scale enterprises.
We have focused in line with government's vision and the president's vision to transform the economy into a world-class economy, bringing into mind some of the government's flagship programs, such as the One District, One Factory, which involves industry, and also most importantly, academia, because what people are producing, right, is things that would have to be advanced. And to be able to advance that, we need the universities, the research that is being done.
And that's your business update for now. There's more coming up on the marketplace. Up next, sports.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the sports segment. Here with me, Ore Kwampofo. Now, after the termination of the contract of CK AKONNOR as coach of the Black Stars, the three-member committee set up by the GFA have close to 60 hours to name a new coach. But the question remains, who becomes the next coach of the Black Stars? We do have more for you in the following report.
The decision follows incessant calls from the media and general public for the ousting of the 47-year-old coach after consistent poor performances from CK AKONNOR's Black Stars. Here is a Joy Sports list of potential managers who could lead the Black Stars for the next World Cup qualifiers, as well as Cameroon's edition of the Africa Cup of Nations set to take place from January next year. Selas Tete. This is a man many will suggest has been due the role for more than 10 years now. The 64-year-old led current Black Stars captain Andre Ayew and a host of other talents like Ajiman Bedu and Jonathan Mensah to lift the Under-20 World Cup in Egypt. Kwesi Appiah is another with littered Black Stars history, serving as manager and assistant to Milovan Rajevac and Goran Stefanovic respectively. His first appointment as Black Stars head coach came in 2012, where he managed 28 games. He won 15 games and lost 8. Otu Ado. The 46-year-old served as chief scout for Ghana from 2013 to 2015. That serves as his only local responsibility, but he is rich in European experience. His first and only head coach responsibility came at Hamburg's Under-19 youth setup. Milovan Rajevac. The name of the Serbian will probably be the most popular amongst Ghana's football community. The Serb was the leading brain behind Ghana's exploit at the 2010 World Cup. He served as Black Stars head coach for 2 years and was in charge of 28 games. George Boateng. He arguably poses as the least experienced in this list, still waiting for a senior managerial appointment. However, he has picked up experience from Malaysia and boasts of English football experience after serving as assistant manager for Aston Villa's Under-18 team between 2019 and 2020. Other expatriates who have also been linked to the job are Italian coach Francesco Guidolin, former Borussia Dortmund boss Lucien Favre, longtime Pep Guardiola assistant Dominic Torrent, and Frenchman Alain Giresse. Time will tell who becomes the next coach of the Black Stars.
That's how we wrap up the sports here. You can get coverage of the Champions League fixtures this evening on Joy Sports Twitter at Joy Sports GH or online at my Joy Online /sports. If you do want live updates from these games as well. My name is Oriku Ampofo, and that's the sports for now.
Well, in show business, musician Mr. Drew says that his biggest challenge as an artist is promoting his music to ensure no piracy and more streaming. Speaking on Daybreak Hits, Mr. Drew explained that, like many artists, he's doing music as a full-time job with no other source of income. Hence, if people choose to access his music through routes or routes that are unapproved, he does not benefit from his work.
Biggest challenge as an artist? Okay, it would be promoting my music and trying to get people to get on just the streaming sites and not downloading the songs for free, or pirating the songs. That would be my biggest challenge, because it's crazy. The piracy in Ghana is crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. We'll be downloading it free, CCR.
But is that not what you want?
No. Streaming. Numbers, no, so that we can have like a proper data. You understand? Yeah. I think that's my biggest challenge.
Now, theatre lovers over the weekend trooped into the National Theatre to watch the first in-person play Devil's Wife by playwright Uncle Ibu White. The play tells the story of a young girl fearful of marriage because of past tragedies and a young pastor with so much faith. Here's what you've missed.
It was fantastic and great. I really loved it.
Hi, how are you doing?
Bye.
You look like you really had a lot of fun.
I did.
Okay, so it was a good show for you.
It was a really terrific show for me.
So how was the whole play for you?
Oh, it was lovely.
You loved it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Anything lines there?
Well, I guess we have to be careful with the things we buy and, life in general, okay? We have to sort of like have our trust in God, okay? No matter the situation and what not we're going through, I believe we need to trust in God, and at the end, He'll see us through.
Is it trusting God for you, what you learned from the play?
Oh, yeah. We learned a lot, yeah.
And how about you?
Yeah, I also learned the same thing. It was fun.
Okay, what are some of the peak times for you on the show?
I think for me it was the fight between the devil and then the angels. That was nice.
Okay. And you?
Personally, I think it was the whole thing.
Moral lessons learned?
Well, we have to trust in God always. For instance, when the woman felt pressured to get babies, she should have just waited on the Lord. The Lord would have done it for her.
Sure. I really enjoyed the show, and I wish Uncle Ibu comes out with a lot of shows. Okay. Yeah. Well, the Uncle Ibu never disappoints. Is this your first Ibu White show? No, this is my third show. But have you learned anything from that? Are you taking anything away from the show? Yes, exactly. Because I feel that in every situation that we encounter, we need to have faith in God.
Well, that's it for show business news, but it is also a wrap for the news. Thank you for staying with me this hour. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Mama OWUSU. Thanks for your company.